Welcome to the Daisy Blue Fashion Variety Show. I am Nancy Blizzard, your host, and my guest today is Amara Martin from Dress for Success.
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Thank you so much for having me.
I'd love to hear more about your organization here in Denver.
So Dress for Success has been in Denver since 2006, and we focus on providing women with professional attire so that they can go out and interview, as well as do internships and gain full-time employment. But we also run 5 other programs that allow them to really thrive in work as well as in life. So we have a career center where women meet one-on-one with a professional coach to practice interviews. We have a navigator mentorship where they can also meet one-on-one. But this is more of that mentoring. This is more of getting into the societal norms, the written and unwritten rules of the workplace, really helping them move forward in their professional careers. We have a Women's Employment Network where we go out in the community and we do job readiness classes at some other partner agencies such as Warren Village and the Women's Being Project. We have Pathways to Education because we believe in continued education. And so we have ways for women to get CEU credits in order to continue their education. And then our last program is really the focus. It is the Professional Women's Group. This is our employment retention program because people can get jobs. You get jobs all the time, but it's hard to keep them. And if we can help a woman keep a job, we can finish our mission, which is to empower women to achieve financial independence through those programs so that they can thrive.
And is Dress for Success, is it a national or international organization?
We're both. We are. We have grown so dramatically over the past 20 years. We were founded in 1997 in Manhattan. A wonderful woman named Nancy Loveland. She got an inheritance from her grandfather for $5,000, and he told her, don't blow this money, do something positive with it. And she went out and bought a suit with that money and got a job right away. And she thought, how many other women are perfectly qualified, have everything they need to be successful, but just don't look right? And thus the idea of Dress for Success was born. And so now we have 160 affiliates in the United States, and we are in 30 countries.
And how long has the Denver chapter been?
We have been open since 2006. Since then, we've served right around 13,000 women.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
And it's amazing if you think about it. You know, 58% of the women we're serving are single mothers, and they average 2 to 3 children each. So altogether, it's about 30,000 lives that have been touched through Dress for Success since we opened our doors. We serve all of Colorado, so any woman anywhere can get to us. We will serve them. We don't have any limitations. All of our services are completely free. We'll even give you a free wash, cut, and style. I have a salon in our boutique space. When I first started, I started off as a volunteer over 10 years ago. And I remember a woman when she came in, and she was so sweet and so kind looking, but she was very nervous. She came and sat in our chairs like this. You know, she had her head down, her whole body was just sunken down. And I walked up to her and I just said, welcome to Dress for Success. I'm going to be your personal stylist today. I'm so looking forward to helping you. What would you like to wear? And she just burst into tears. And so I hugged her, I got her a glass of water, and I told her, it's going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. And she looked at me with that sincerity of believing it's going to be okay. And I don't know what she had been through. I don't know what was going on in her life, but I know that she needed someone to look her in the eye and tell her it's going to be okay. And so we went through our boutique, got her a great outfit, beautiful floral blouse with a navy suit and a navy shoe. We popped it with like a burgundy colored bag. She looked amazing. And she had an interview at a bank, and it was such a striking outfit. And I saw her go from this to standing in front of the mirror, completely dressed, looking like this. looking me in the eye, looking herself in the mirror. It was amazing watching the transformation that fashion can have in a person. And at the end of the appointment, she said, I am going to be okay. I'm going to get this job and I'm going to get out of this situation. And I said, you absolutely are. Gave her a hug, sent her on her way. About a week later, she came back to the boutique because she had gotten that job. I was able to get her 4 more outfits. She was so happy. And it was just that simple transformation of giving somebody the time, looking them in the eye, really showing a woman that she is worth it, showing her her value so she can go out and interview and show an employer her value so she can take care of herself and her family. Confidence is the #1 thing that you need in a job search and in anything. And the women that we are serving, they don't have it for all kinds of different reasons. They could be coming out of incarceration, they could be homeless, they could be coming out of domestic violence situations, coming out of school, they could be a retired grandparent who has to turn to work to take care of their grandchildren. They could just be perpetually unemployed. And their confidence has just been beaten down. And so by coming to us and joining our network and being around other women that are like them, as well as women they can aspire to be, they start to feel better about themselves. They stand up straight. They look people in the eye and sell themselves so they can get and keep their jobs.
How important is it for a person to dress well at the workplace?
It is the most important thing that you do. In our society, it takes someone 8 seconds to judge you. That's crazy. It's such a short amount of time. But in 8 seconds, someone has decided who you are, who you aren't, whether or not they're going to hire you, if they like you or not. And so you have to be able to combat that. You have to have a professional presentation because it's not just clothing. You know, you are wearing fabric, I'm wearing fabric. It's the presentation. So it is the person under the clothing. So you feel good about yourself, you feel comfortable, then you have your version of professional attire because my professional attire is different than yours. We have some basic rules, but our style needs to come out. You have to show your personal style. And when you do that, you feel so good about yourself and so confident that you're able to focus on work and not be distracted by what you look like. You can still look very professional and you can have your own personal style. All of us have a style. And when you go to work, you don't want to abandon your style. You want to show your style in a professional manner. So we teach them how to integrate their style, usually with accessories, a great bag, a signature piece, a necklace, a great pair of earrings, something that is definitively you. We want to show them that so they feel like themselves, so they can go and really sell themselves. I think interviewing is the most nerve-wracking thing that there is because you're walking into a room to be judged by someone, and it's very nervous. And the more prepared you are, the more tools you have, the better you feel, the better you look, the better you will do. You know, all of us have that one thing in your closet. I'm sure you do.
I do.
You have that one thing that you love. And every time you put it on, you just feel like $1 million. This is your lucky thing. Well,
Yes.
if you can have a lucky interview outfit, if you can have that outfit, that watch, that pair of shoes, that dress, where you just feel confident and fabulous about yourself, then you're able to be successful.
How many outfits do you give them?
So when they interview, we're coming in for an interview, you get one outfit head to toe. If you're coming in for an internship, it's 3 outfits. And when you gain full-time employment, it is 4 outfits head to toe. Also, with that last program that I mentioned, the employment retention program, every time you attend a meeting, you get a coupon to come in for an additional outfit. So I can get you 12 outfits a year on top of everything else.
I mean, what questions do they usually have when they want to interview? What kind of tips do you give them?
So we give a lot of specific tips, but it's also we give general rules. So rule number one, we want to make sure that we're not showing too much skin. You know, as women, we want to make sure that we are respected and seen for the work that we do, not for our body, okay? So we don't want to focus on the body. We want to show the body in a very professional way, but we don't want to draw attention to it. So we're showing them appropriate pants. An appropriate business pant is a pant that from the widest part of your body goes straight to the floor and creates a straight line. That is an appropriate business pant. Not a skinny, that's not necessarily an appropriate interview pant. We want that straight line. That line also does great things for your figure. It makes you look like you've got a nice straight line. So for those people like myself who may have a lump, a bump, a curve, that type of thing, it creates a nice straight line. So it helps you out. We also tell them we want to avoid any cleavage. We don't want a wardrobe malfunction. We don't want anything like that. So you want to watch cleavage. You want to watch your hemlines. We show them about mid-thigh. Your skirt should not be above mid-thigh. You really need to stay at mid-thigh. And we're getting into the summertime. We're getting into warm weather. And I don't know what it is, but people lose their minds in the summer. And we've got bra straps coming out, and we got all kinds of stuff coming out in the summer. So we really try to tell them to avoid these pitfalls and to understand your industry. We get our funding through our events, through individual donations, and through corporations and foundations. So we're supported by the public. It is so important that people keep in mind that donating clothing is just one part of the equation. We also need people to support us with financial contributions. There is no other way that we can do what we do. We need financial contributions to keep our lights on so that we have a boutique space for women to go to. It is so important that people consider making a full investment in what we are doing in women's lives. I'm always amazed by Denver, what people will give us and how they donate items to us. And we give those items to the women that we're serving, and then we sell the ones that we are not able to give, and we just use that money to put it right back in the programs.
And where do you get your clothes, your donated clothes?
We take donations on the second Saturday of every month from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And women come down from everywhere with all kinds of clothes and jewelry and accessories and scarves and shoes and bags. And they bring all of these great items to us, and we put them into our clothing boutique. I think Denver is just full of generous people. They give us beautiful things, and not just any old thing, because it's really about the dignity. So we're not necessarily interested in that suit from 1982 with the big shoulder pads that's completely outdated. We want something that you would wear today. We want something that if you had a sister or a friend who was going for a job interview, you would give that to them because you want them to be treated with the same dignity and respect that you are. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking for. And it's far more than suits. You know, people hardly wear suits anymore. So we're looking for those great tops and the great skirts and great slacks and blouses and wonderful shoes, you know, fun shoes. You know, in fashion right now, it's all about recycling. You'll see a lot about fashion recycling and the importance of really sharing the fashion. Yes. Don't let your fashion go to waste. Well, for the women that are donating to us, this is their opportunity to support other women. So you recycle that jacket that you love, but hey, maybe it shrunk on you in the closet after a season, and you donate it to somebody else who can use that to go get a job and to feel better about herself, and then she donates it. So you have this beautiful chain of supporting each other towards success through their fashion. At the end of July, we have a sale. So we get all of these fabulous donations from the public. And some of them are appropriate and some of them are not, but they're still fabulous. So we host this sale event for the public to come down to our boutique space, and they can purchase items at rock bottom prices, rock bottom. And that we use the proceeds from those sales in order to purchase items that we don't get, like undergarments and hemming tape and things of that nature that we need for our boutique space. It's a great way to get high-end designer clothing at low prices, but all along supporting a great cause. This fall, we will have our fall fashion event, which features a beautiful fashion show, and we'll have a video where we'll share one of our client stories, as well as just a good time with some great food, silent auction items. We'll have more details on that event, as well as our sale event later this summer. Those are on our website, which is denver.dressforsuccess.org.
The employee retention programs, what do you teach them at those programs?
So we bring in a speaker on a professional development topic. We have 5 pillars: professional development, civic leadership. So we are creating leaders in the community, health and wellness, the written and unwritten rules of the workplace. That's the big one. That's the one we spend the majority of the time in, because oftentimes women are not promoted, women are not able to move up in the world, not because they're not talented, not because they don't do the work, but because they don't understand the culture. And there's a very stark difference between popular culture or your culture at home versus professional culture. And we need to teach those cultural norms to them so they can get those promotions, so they can continue to move up. That is so important. And so this program is designed to help us kind of offset the different obstacles that come when you are employed. Our final pillar is financial education. That is the real meat of what we do, because you can take any amount of money, and as long as you understand how to manage it successfully, you will be able to save, you'll be able to purchase things you need, you'll be able to change your financial situation. And so we provide financial education, and we're seeing great results. We have a partnership with Capital One. They have a cafe down in the Lodo area, right by Union Square. And they are providing financial literacy classes to the women in our programs, and it is just amazing to see what they've done. And Capital One is such an amazing partner. We're so grateful to them for what they're teaching and how they're teaching it. And I mean, they even go into investments and retirement, and we're seeing that education stick, and we're seeing women really start to change their situations. I have women who are buying homes, who are moving from temporary to permanent housing. I have women who are graduating from college. It is amazing to see the results that happen when you make these small investments in women's lives. It's amazing. We definitely see the growth in the members in that employment retention program. They're with us for a while, and so we see their stories evolve. There's one woman in particular, her story evolves every day. It is amazing to me what she is able to do. She came to Dress for Success in 2013 after being released from 2 years of federal prison. She had a 10-year sentence, but got out in 2 years. And she had absolutely nothing. She was 2 weeks out, just fresh, living in a halfway house. She came to Dress for Success because she had to, and she was terrified. Because she has a federal felony, you know, nobody was going to hire her. She thought she was out of luck. But she came down, we gave her a fabulous outfit. And when she met with the career coach asked her about her personal brand. She'd never heard this before. But she went back to the halfway house and thought about it. What is my brand? What do I have to offer an employer? And she got that, and it was service, and it was mentorship, and a driven desire to be successful. She is interviewed, got one job, interviewed again, got another job. She's the director of a catering company. She speaks for Dress for Success. She's one of our ambassadors. She speaks all over the state. She was selected out of all of the affiliates in the United States to be the keynote speaker at our worldwide gala in Manhattan in April. And so I got to go with her, escort her to the gala in Manhattan. And at that gala, she received 3 job offers, one of which she flew back to Manhattan to interview for this week. And so every single day, her story is continuing to evolve because she made a decision when she came to see us that she was going to change her life, and she was not going to go back to the life that she knew or the habits that she knew. Instead, she was deciding to push through, not be a statistic, and help other women. So she has started a nonprofit organization that helps women in halfway houses, the same halfway house she was in. She mentors them, provides them with resources, which she started through Dress for Success. I think all of our stories are like that. You know, all of our stories are constantly evolving. We are not who we were 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or
Right.
in some cases, yesterday. I mean, we are constantly changing. We are constantly evolving. And when we share those stories, we find the unity in women. And it is that unity that makes you feel like you are not alone. There's other women just like you who are struggling or who have struggled. And so by coming to a community, a network like Dress for Success, we are able to bring women together of all different backgrounds, ethnicities, religions, neighborhoods, everybody, and really build them up and bring them together. It is truly special. And over the years, I am constantly amazed how it continues to evolve and how big it gets. And it just gets bigger and bigger every year. When we come together and we can build each other up and we can support each other, even giving a nice ear to hear or a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
When we support each other, that's when we see change. And we see change in individuals, change in community, and we will see change in the world. Early in my career, I didn't realize the effect on the children because I was so focused on their mother, that the mother needs to get a job, and I didn't realize the effect. And after one of the employment retention meetings, a little boy ran up to me and he just gave me a big hug around my knees. And I'm like, oh, you know, what's going on? How's school? And he was telling me how happy he was because he had his own room and he didn't have to move so much. And that sat with me because I realized if you can change that woman, if you can give her financial stability, her child can have that stability. He doesn't have to move all of the time. He can hang pictures on the wall. He can go to football practice because mom can afford it. And I started to realize the residual effect of what we're doing and how important it is to our children and that next generation. And it's a big deal. 1 in 5 children live in poverty, which is kind of an alarming statistic. But if we can change, we can get women a job that will allow them to have financial stability. We can increase the chances that those children will not live in that same circumstance. And so we always think about that. We are changing mom, but we are really changing a generation of children. I have been affiliated with the organization for 11 years. I came in as a volunteer, and then I was hired as a program director, and then last year I was promoted to an executive director. And it has meant everything to me. Being in this program, being around the women, and being a stop on their journey has changed who I am at my core to a new woman that is sitting here. The woman that is sitting here today is not the woman that I was 11 years ago. I didn't have that experience. I didn't have that knowledge. Now I do. And now not only am I standing, I'm actually standing for something that means something to so many women. I'm able to share their voices, to share their stories with the public and get people to understanding who they are and just the beauty and the power of the sheer determination to be successful. Every woman deserves the right to education, to employment, and to financial opportunity. And I get the privilege to share that message and walk with them in their journey. And it has made me who I am today.
Thank you for watching the Daisy Blue Fashion Variety Show here at Denver Open Media with my guest, Amara Martin from Dress for Success. Thank you for being on my show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
You're so wonderful. Have a great day.